Hello everyone, this is part 9 of What If Naruto Had the Power to Control Vectors, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Naruto was cursing herself for being the one that caused this problem. It started right after they got back to Suna and found out Kankuro had died. Temari was pretty much having a mental breakdown at that point, and once she saw Gara alive she leaped into him for a hug. Gara-san looked like it was about to block her, but Gara suppressed it. The next couple of minutes were spent watching awkwardly as Temari cried into her brother's shoulder. The scene probably would have lasted forever if Gara hadn't been forcibly dragged off by the elders to talk about his capture. Naruto and Tenten decided they would take Temari to the bath to get her, and themselves, cleaned up. Minima and Kushina were still in the infirmary getting their wounds patched up so they didn't come. They hoped it would relax her, and it did, but a bath wouldn't fix the trauma of losing a bother. It will be okay. Gara's still here, Tenten said. You two could never understand, my brother is dead. I'll never be able to see or talk to him ever again. Temari said. Tears started to flow. Temari, I do understand. Naruto said. It might not be exactly the same, but I've lost a sibling too. My little sister Mito and her two friends Hanabi and Hitomi ran away from the village, and it was just today that I found out where they went. They joined the Akatsuki and my sister made it abundantly clear how much she hates me, so I know what it's like to lose a sibling. Naruto couldn't believe she had said that. She had just wanted to help a friend, but now it was blowing up in her face and Minato was taking the full force of it. Well, Minato, care to explain why two members of your family are part of that Akatsuki? Said. Minato was really in a tight situation here. What was he supposed to say? That Mito and her friends ran away because she hated her family. Yeah, that would go over well. Damn, if only he knew that Naruto was part of the Akatsuki beforehand, everything would have made so much more sense. Mito left to find her brother and she did. I have no explanation, Minato said, looking down at his feet. I see, said. Now I believe it's time to discuss what to do about the Akatsuki. I suggest the first thing to do is issue a kill-on-sight order for all shinobi. Wait a minute, some of those members are only kids, we can't just kill them. Minato said, getting more panicked. What you mean to say is that some of those members are your kids? Onoki said. I agree with the Raikage, and let me remind you, Minato, that you were the one who wanted to have this meeting and stop the Akatsuki so badly. I agree to this suggestion too, Gara said. Me too, Mei said. Next we should decide what to do about the three tails. We need to find it before the Akatsuki does, and figure out what to do with it once we find it. Onoki said. I believe since my village is the only one without a Jinchuriki, we should be tasked with finding it, then making it Suna's new Jinchuriki. Gara said. You don't have a Jinchuriki because you lost it. Mei said. The Three Tails was originally part of Kiri and we haven't lost our Jinchuriki, so we are far better equipped to take on another one. If you're talking about villages that haven't lost a Jinchuriki, then Taka is more than ready to find the Three Tails. Shibuki said. Silence, no one village will have the right to the Three Tails, it will be a joint effort. Said. All information will be shared, and if we do capture it, the village that did the most work will get it. Is that agreeable? Hi. The rest of the group said. All right, then I believe this meeting it over. Said. Actually, I believe that the Nine Tails Jinchuriki should be taken out of the leaf for protection. Onoki said. What? Are you saying that I am incapable of protecting my own daughter? Minato said. I do, Onoki said. More than a few Akatsuki members come from your village and would know about the village layout and Naruto's habits. Not to mention Mito would know about the layout of your own house, and I'm sure that you will not follow the kill-on-sight order. Mito could try and convince you she's returned to your side and then take Naruto from right under your nose. That would never happen. Minato yelled, actually standing up. Come on, we're leaving. As they were leaving, said something that shook Minato to his very core. What would never happen, you letting Mito back in or Mito tricking you and taking Naruto away? Minato didn't respond. Goodbye Naruto, have a safe trip back. Write me sometime. Fu said, waving Naruto goodbye. After everything was said and done, the alliance against the Akatsuki was made with all the nations, although Konoha noticeably got the short end of the stick in information and in support from other nations. Minato had also got against many of the alliance's order. Like the fact he had told his ninja not only to not follow the kill on sight order when it came to Naruto and the girls, but to do everything in their power to capture them. He made sure that every ninja under his command knew about Naruto's power and his weakness, as few as he might have. Along with this, he had also kicked Naruto's and Minamo's training into overdrive. Minato had also sent a number of squads to investigate Naruto sightings. Most people thought, even those in his own village, Minato were optimistic at best and disillusioned at worst. He thought that capturing Naruto and talking to him would be good enough to get him to join the Leaf and the girls would follow, but people just couldn't see that happening. Naruto had attacked the Leaf, killed Leaf Nin, and was hunting his own sister. What Minato needed to understand was that Naruto wasn't just going through a rebellious phase, he was a serious threat to the Leaf, but there was someone who did see Naruto as a threat and he wasn't going to wait for Minato to see it. Danzo, you called. Torun said, kneeling in front of Danzo along with Sai and Fu, not the Jinchuriki Fu, the other one. I have a mission for you three. Danzo said. What is it you desire? Fu asked. As you know, Naruto has been confirmed to be part of the Akatsuki. He has skills far beyond that of even a regular S-class. This makes him a threat to the entire village, but Minato can't seem to see that, so it will be up to you to take him out for the good of the Leaf. Danzo said. How do you suggest we go about it? From what I heard, Naruto's reflection has only been penetrated by Lee, and even with training no one else has been able to replicate it. Not even Guy. Torun said. You can't. Naruto's defense is by far the best of any ninja before him. Danzo said. That's why you won't be attack him. You'll be attack a weaker ninja, although just as much as a threat as Naruto. Fu. Torun, your orders are to capture Mito Namikaze and kill anyone who stands in your way. That includes the Uchiha and the Hyuga heiress. I already have source that can tell you where they are. Now go. Hi, they said before flickering off. As for you, Sai, you will tell Naruto that we have his sister, and if he doesn't comply with our demands we will kill here. Danzo said. What are your demands? Sai asked. To come to the outskirts of the village with his reflection turned off. Then I will send the root ninja to kill him. Danzo said, already formulating the plan. What if he denies your demands? Sai asked. Then we will kill Mito, although we would regardless. If Naruto is killed, then it's just one more threat that has been eliminated. We will still have removed Mito. Danzo said. Hi, Sai said, flickering off to find his mark. Mito, Hitomi, Hanabi and Sugetsu were walking along, not really doing much after having just turned in their latest bounty. After the little bit of excitement they had with Gara's capture, it was back to bounty work like normal. The Akatsuki was figuring out who would replace Sasori, and in the meantime Deodara was tagging along with Zetsu. The girls were all secretly hoping to become the new members, but that wasn't likely to happen as Sugetsu would probably be picked before them. Hanabi could still hope that she would be partnered with Naruto, no matter how unlikely that would be. Suddenly the girls stopped. Hey, what are you three doing? Sugetsu said, continuing his walk. We're being watched. Hanabi said. You're crazy, Sugetsu said as a kunai shot through his neck. Hanabi quickly took action and threw her sword at the tree where the kunai had come from. A man wearing an Anbu mask jumped down without saying a word. His only defining characteristic was his orange hair. He charged at them, taking out his tanto. The girls were ready to defend themselves, but the Anbu encountered a different opponent. You know it's not nice to surprise a guy like that, Sugetsu said, having blocked the tanto with his own sword. The Anbu didn't seem surprised that Sugetsu wasn't dead. In fact, he seemed to have expected it. That when the Anbu's tanto started crackling with lightning and started cutting through Sugetsu's sword. The girls were about to go run off and help him, but Hanabi, thanks to her near 360 vision, saw another Anbu coming up behind him along with the number of kunais he had just thrown. Hanabi, not having time to warn her friends, started spinning around. Palm rotation. She screamed, creating a dome of chakra around them and causing the kunais to bounce off harmlessly. Mito and Hitomi, have realizing that someone was behind them, turned around. Lightning rife. Mito yelled, shouting at the Anbu along with a fireball that Hitomi had made. The Anbu was not deterred as he quickly dogged out of the way. On the other side of the field, the girls heard a snapping sound and turned to see that Sugetsu's sword had been cut in half, and the electrified Tanto slashing upwards. Sugetsu leaned back to avoid the attack and shot some water bullets, forcing the Anbu to move back. The Anbu wasn't nearly ready to give up his attack though, as he put his hand on the ground and lightning started to dance across the ground and towards Sugetsu. Mito, seeing this and knowing that Sugetsu was insanely weak to lightning, threw one of her swords in front of him. The sword embedded itself in the ground and absorbed all the electricity that had been aimed at Sugetsu. Mito, pleased with herself, turned back to fight the other Anbu, but now there was something different about him. His arms were a purple color, and it seemed to be moving like it was somehow alive. The Anbu ran at them with just his fists, trying to touch them with the strange substance. The girls weren't about to let that happen. The Anbu was met with 3 girls all using taijutsu to try and stop him. The girls weren't using any jutsu because they had leaned on more than one occasion that your own jutsu could block your line of sight, and with that guy trying so hard to get them with that substance, they weren't about to lose track of him. After all, the girls had learned time and time again from Naruto that if you don't know what something is, then you better figure it out on your own before your opponent forces you to. As the fight went on, the girls noticed something rather strange. The Anbu was trying to avoid touching Mito. There was only one possible answer to explain the Anbu's actions. He was trying to take Mito alive. Mito realized she could use this to her advantage by putting herself in harm's way. The Anbu would be forced to make awkward movements around her, but just as Mito was ready to put her plan into action, she felt a slight pressure hit the back of her head. It felt like something was burrowing inside in mind, and that's when Mito realized that her mind was being invaded. She unfortunately had realized this too late, and the Yamanaka took control of her mind. Sugetsu was confused on why his opponent suddenly collapsed. He was about to do the obvious thing and cut the Anbu's head off, but before he could make it a few steps, Mito jumped in front of him, grabbed the sword she had previously thrown in front of him, and slashed at him with an electric-charged blade. Sugetsu, not having expected an attack, failed to dodge. Normally this wouldn't be a problem, but since the blade had lightning chakra, Sugetsu immediately felt his body start to liquefy into a pool of goo. Hanabi and Hitomi were also surprised by Mito's sudden actions and were catch off guard when the Anbu they had been fighting rushed them and walked his hands around each of their arms. The purple substance crawled up their arms, leaving them in unimaginable pain until they finally couldn't take it and more and collapsed to the ground dead. Mission complete, the Anbu said, going over to pick up his partner's body while he was controlling Mito. Naruto was resting on the side of a nice grassy hill. It was so rare for him to be able to relax like this, and honestly it was his favorite thing to do. Why was he resting when he should be making his way to Taki? Well, that was simple, because Hiden was doing his damn ritual again. Naruto may have liked to relax, but he liked to do it when everything was taken care of. Not at the seemingly random will of Jashin. Hiden, are you almost done? Naruto asked. I will not rush the ritual just because you want to go. We've got plenty of time to capture the 7 tails. Hiden yelled. We won't if we have to stop every hour to do a 2-hour ritual. Naruto said. Hiden didn't respond, and Naruto was glad he didn't. It was tiring having to put up with him. How Naruto missed his laid-back days in the land of frost. All he had to do was teach the girls a few tricks, and they would do whatever he said. Thinking about the good old days made Naruto a little sleepily, and since Hiden wasn't going to be done anytime soon, he would give in to his sleepiness. His pleasant nap was interrupted by someone walking over to him and standing right behind his head. Naruto didn't open his eyes, so he didn't know who it was. He only knew there was a person there because he heard them. Naruto assumed it was Hiden, finally done with his ritual, but since he made Naruto wait so long and he was still a little sleepily, Naruto thought he make Hiden wait for him. All Naruto had to do was ignore his shouts to get up. After all, it wasn't like Hiden could shake him awake, so Naruto waited for Hiden to start his hissy fit, but it never came. This confused Naruto. Hiden would never let him rest in peace, so the only conclusion was this guy wasn't Hiden. Naruto opened his eyes like he had just been asleep until that very moment. The guy that was standing over Naruto's head was so pale that he could give Naruto a run for his money. He was wearing a leaf headband and had a face without emotion. Who are you? Naruto asked. Naruto, I'm here to tell you that we have, the leaf ninja tried to say, but in one swift motion Naruto had reached into his pocket, pulled out his ball and shot it at the ninja's face. It wasn't going fast enough to rip through his head, but was certainly enough to rattle his brain and cause death, but instead of the blood Naruto had expected, ink came out of the wound. The ninja became a pool of ink as if it was a water clone. Alright, come on out, if you want to talk to me you'll have to do it face to face, Naruto said, acting like he knew it was a clone all along. At this point the ball he had thrown had bounced off a tree and back into Naruto's hand. Naruto watched as a ninja exactly identical to his clone walked up to Naruto. As my clone was trying to say, we have captured you, Sister Mito, and if you don't want us to kill her then you must comply with our demands. Oh, I see, Naruto said, getting up on his feet. So what you're saying is that you'll kill Mito unless I come with you and get killed myself, Naruto said, already having guessed what this ninja wanted from him. Hi, the ninja said. But do want to know something, I don't really want to die, so that would mean you can take your request and shove it up your ass, Naruto said with his cocky smirk. I see, the ninja said, summoning a bird made out of ink. Then I will be on my way to tell my master about your decision. Wait a minute, you don't think you can just leave, do you? Naruto said, pulling out his ball again. Because you just threatened me and my sister. Sai, realizing that Naruto was about to kill him, took off and flew away as fast as he could. Fly away little bird, but just know that the sky doesn't offer any cover, Naruto said, holding his hand flat to the floor, letting the ball drop and come back up. It was the same attack he used on Minima, but this time he did it for longer, and just when the bird was about to leave his sight the ball went sailing through the sky. Naruto could barely see the bird at this point, but when that part of the sky turned red and a figure fell to the ground, Naruto knew he had made a hit. It just so happened that at that moment Hiden walked up beside Naruto. What are you looking at? He asked. Why don't you come along and find out? Naruto said, walking in the direction he saw the leaf nin fall. Hiden shrugged and followed him. Naruto watched as the leaf ninja tried to crawl away in pain when he arrived at the impact site. His whole right leg had been torn off by Naruto's attack, and Naruto was sure that fall had broken a lot of bones. Naruto picked up his ball that was lying in a puddle of blood. So I'm guessing your master is going to kill Mito now, Naruto said, wiping on his ball. Of course he will, the nin said, coughing up blood. Do you really not care about her? Naruto smiled, getting down on one knee in front of the ninja. Of course I care about her, I didn't train those girls for fun. Then why are you going to let her be killed? He asked. Because they're not going to be killed, Naruto said, an evil glint in his eye. You might not know this about the Akatsuki, but information travels fast. If the girls had been killed or captured I would have known about it, but I haven't been informed, so that means you don't have them. It is true that we don't have them, the nin said. But we're capturing them right now, so you just signed the death warrants. Your master most really underestimate my training method, Naruto said, getting back to his feet. I trained them for 3 years, they won't be beaten by Root, and you can tell Danzo that in the afterlife. Naruto enjoyed seeing the shocked look on the Root agent's face. It was the only shade of emotion he'd seen him give. How do you know about Root? He asked. Orochimaru, Naruto said before bringing his foot down on the Root agent's face and using his vectors to smash it against the ground. Now that that's done, we should get a move on. You sure the brats will be fine? Hiden asked. They better be, I didn't train them to lose, Naruto said. The Anbu that had just killed Hanabi and Hitomi walked over to his partner to carry his body while he was controlling Mito, but before he could make, he felt a sharp pain in his chest. It was so bad that he actually fell to his knees. Looking down to see what had caused the pain was a huge shock. Sticking out through his chest was the Nuibari. But how he had killed them. He looked back just in time to see the two bodies turn into black feather. Genjutsu, Torun said as the sword was ripped out of his chest by Hanabi. Damn it, Torun said, putting pressure on his wound to keep himself from bleeding out. Fu in Mito's body rushed the girls, knowing they wouldn't hurt their friend, but he wasn't exactly right. Once he got close, Hanabi went into the Hyuga stance and closed off all of Mito's chakra points. That sword isn't the only way I can attack, Hanabi said, smiling down on Fu. You're not used to that body, so it would have been hard for you to dodge, Hitomi said. Then I'll just return to mine, Fu said as a released Mito from his jutsu. Fu was transferred back to his own body and was going back to attack the girls, but right when he got to his feet a sword slashed him across his stomach. What the hell? Fu said, looking at the person who had caused his wound. Sugetsu was smiling, his body have re-solidified. his sword also reforming from the blood he had just gotten for Fu. You two really should have thought about who you were messing with before you went and attacked us. Sugetsu said to the two wounded Anbu. We're not done yet, Torun said, getting to his feet. Yes you are, Sugetsu said, not as an opinion but as a fact. Torun didn't know how he could be so sure until he saw the reflection. The reflection of the sun on the ninja wire directly behind Sugetsu, and everywhere else. When did she have time to do that, Torun thought. Hanabi gave the ninja wire attached to her sword a tug and it contracted, wrapping around Fu and Torun. Sugetsu was also in the area of danger, but the wire passed harmlessly through his water body. The two Anbu were hoisted up, supported by the wire that was now hanging them from a tree. Game over, Hitomi said as she threw two kunais at the Anbu now that they were unable to move. Mission to capture Mito, failed. Mission to kill Naruto, failed. What used to be a small forest was now nothing more than wooden stumps. Good job Minima, Kushina said from the sidelines. Using your lightning chakra in combination with your chains not only gives you a lot more cutting power, but it will also zap anyone who comes into contact with it. Not everyone, Minima said with a sigh. For the other side of the stumps the girls hear a huge blast of power and then Naruto came flying over to their side, slightly burnt. Ow. Naruto said, getting up just as Minto teleported over. Still now able to get it? Kushina asked. No. I just don't see how we're going to be able to add a chakra element to the Rasengan. Every time it just ends up blowing up in our faces. Minato said. But we can't give up, because if we're able to pull it off no one will be able to survive a direct hit. I can name at least one person who could. Naruto said with a sigh. Kushina and Minato knew who she talking, but the truth was there really wasn't any single move that could get past his reflection. Ka-san, Tu-san, why is it that no one can beat Naruto? Naruto asked. I mean, there are plenty of other ridiculously strong people in the world, each with their own amazing powers that would seem impossible to stop, yet they can still be beat, so what makes Naruto so different? Minato looked at his daughter then up at the sky, letting it a sigh. You're right, there are other people just as strong if not stronger than Naruto, but there's something he has that makes him stand out above the rest. We already know it's his reflection. Minima said. Well yes, but it doesn't have to be reflection. Minato said. You see, when a new ability or power comes along, it's the job of everyone else to figure out how to beat it. The girls gave Minato a blank look, obviously not getting it. Here I'll give you an example. When I created my flying thunder god, no one knew how to deal with it, and that helped us win the third great ninja war, but as time went on people figure out my power and ways to combat it, so while still powerful it doesn't strike fear like it used to. So in other words, the more a power is used the easily it is to beat. Minima said. That's right. Minato said. Take the giant fireball jutsu. It seems like an incredibly powerful, but since so many people use it, it's become rather easy jutsu to avoid or counter on its own. Now nobody else in the whole world has Naruto's power. In fact, he's even more dangerous because his power isn't close to any other power, which makes it that much harder to figure out. Does that mean nobody will be able to figure out his power? Minima asked. Minato sighed. I'll admit it will be hard. Naruto has not only shown how deadly he can be with his power, but he's also has put a lot of effort into making sure not to give too much information on it, by really only spamming the three same moves, reflection, pebble throw and his ball. He is not however invincible. You two seem to forget that we already got past his reflection once, and that was when Shikamaru saw only a small battle between him and Minima. Minima smiled at that comment. So all we need to do is keep fighting him. We may not win the first time or the second or for many times after that, but each time we'll figure out a little more and then we'll beat him. Minato said with a voice that was so convincing that even Kushina had hope for the future. The future, however, was not going to be as cheerful as Kushina would hope. While Minato was right on a lot of things, fighting Naruto over and over again would not be a wise option, because in order to get information about a power you need to have someone who survived the power, and those would turn out to be quite hard to come by. Utakata was happy. Ever since this Akatsuki business he wasn't allowed to go on missions. Now normally this would be bad thing, but Utakata enjoyed wasting the day away. Now instead of having to put his life on the line he could walk around the village and enjoy the scenery. Right now he was relaxing in one of Kiri's very few parks. He was the only one there since all the kids had left after the big bad Jinchuriki arrived. Utakata didn't really care what the villagers thought of him, and honestly he preferred being alone. All he needed was himself and the little pet that was trapped inside him. Utakata sat in the park for a while just blowing bubbles until he sensed someone approaching him. Normally he would just ignore it since it was usually some civilian or low-ranking ninja coming to kill him. The Anbu that always watched him would take care of them, but Utakata could feel how much stronger this guy was compared to everyone else that had tried to take his life over the years. There was only one explanation. The Akatsuki had come to pay a visit. Utakata waited until the Akatsuki member walked into his line of sight. He was wearing the Akatsuki cloak that Utakata had been told about. His hair was a bright orange and his eyes were something that Utakata had never seen before. Well, he had expected the Akatsuki to be a group of freaks, so his appearance didn't faze Utakata, but the two bloody Anbu corpses he was holding in each hand was cause for alarm. He didn't even have a scratch on him. So I'm guessing you're here to capture me, Utakata said, getting to his feet and wondering how long it would take before the entire village rushed over here to kill this guy. That would be correct, the Akatsuki member said. Also, this fight will have to be quick. Really, why is that? Utakata said, moving the bubbles he had made earlier behind the Akatsuki member. Because I know you're expecting the other ninja in this village to come and help, and while I was able to find you without being detected, once the fight starts they'll come running. As I would prefer not having to deal with them, the fight needs to be over quickly, he said in a long drawn-out explanation, even though the reason was obvious from the beginning. It was almost like he was the one trying to stall for time. Well, you don't have to worry, this fight will be very quick, Utakata said. The bubbles behind the Akatsuki member exploded, kicking up dust and dirt. Utakata would be naive if he thought that an attack like that would kill an S-class nin, but the explosion should get the village's attention. As the smoke cleared, Utakata saw what he expected to see, an unharmed Akatsuki member holding out two bloody and smoking Anbu which he had used as a shield, but something was wrong. He still had orange hair and those strange eyes, but his physique was different. Who are you? Utakata asked. The Akatsuki member dropped the Anbu with a sickening thud. He raised his head so he was staring directly into Utakata's eyes. Utakata found himself unable to look away. Staring into those purple eyes shook Utakata to his very core. He saw his death in a million different ways. He saw the six tails being ripped from him, and he saw how his opponent had the power to make all that a reality and then some. I am Pian, he said right before Utakata felt something grab him from behind, something cold and hard like metal. It took Anbu a little less than a minute to reach the area where they had heard the explosion, but upon arrival there wasn't a single person there. Well, at least ones that were breathing. The two Anbu bodies were immediately recognized as the Anbu that had been tasked with watching over Utakata. The whole village was put on alert to find either Utakata or the Akatsuki member that had taken him, however Utakata would never been seen again. May had to send in the embarrassing report to the other villages telling them that they had lost the six tails and they didn't even get to see the member responsible for the kidnapping. Things were not looking good. The Akatsuki was now even with the villages in terms of tailed beasts, but they only had one causality while the villages had lost a number of powerful ninjas. The news spread like wildfire. The few villages with Jinchuriki started beefing up their security to new extremes. An order from the council, the 5 Kages plus Shibuki, although Minato was more or less excluded, declared that all Jinchuriki needed to be watched 24/7 by no less than 6 Anbu, and although this wasn't an order, most villages had addition Anbu watching those Anbu to see if anything happened to them. Minato, however, once again went against the order, figuring he and Kushina could protect Naruto just fine without her feeling like her life was being invaded. Shibuki and Mei formed a sub-alliance that gave the much weaker Takagakure much-needed support, mainly in the form of Kirk Anbu. Since Suna and Kirk didn't have any Jinchuriki, they also sent out a number of ninjas to find any Akatsuki members then report back so a larger force could be sent to kill them. This was something Minato had already been doing, but everyone knew he was really only sending them out to find Naruto or the girls. But regardless of Minato's intentions, the Akatsuki now had 3 major ninja villages actively hunting them. It would no longer be so easy to move around undetected. This isn't fun anymore, Hiden said as he walked over the body of a Junin. Naruto was thinking along the same lines almost every day now that had encountered at least a couple enemy ninja. There were a couple Suna and Kirk ninja, but the overwhelming majority were Konoha, and Naruto didn't believe this was a coincidence. While he had Hiden never left any survivors, the trail of bodies would be enough to find their position, especially when he and Hiden were forced to sit still for 3 days. Naruto also believed the reason he was coming across so many Konoha ninja was because Minato knew it was him. After all, Naruto's attacks left rather unique wounds on the bodies. There was something that was really throwing Naruto for a loop, however. At first it was Konoha Anbu squads, nothing strange there, but just as Naruto started suspecting that Konoha was closing in on his and Hiden's position, they changed to Chunin squads, then Chunin squads. Minato should know that Chunin or Junin were no match for Hiden or him, so why was he sending them to their deaths? Naruto couldn't think of any rational explanation. Had Minato finally lost it trying to get him back, or had he already got so many of his ninja killed trying to find him that he can't afford it to send any more high-level ninja? Whatever the case, it just made things easier for them. As long as Taki didn't know they were coming, they'd be fine. Naruto had after all taken great care in plotting out the course to keep anyone from finding out the destination, but since Taki was the only village with a Jinchuriki within a reasonable distance from them, it must be pretty oblivious where they're going. At least to anyone who had constantly thrown ninjas at him, but they had yet to encounter any Taki ninja, so was Minato keeping this information to himself? Did he not want his son to get hurt by the big bad ninja that had been ordered to kill him on sight? Naruto let out a soft chuckle at the thought. What's so funny? Hiden asked. Nothing, just thinking about how crazy my father is. Naruto said, still chuckling a little. Whatever, let's just get going, I'm tired of fighting this weakling. Hiden stopped, not only specking but walking too. Naruto also noticed he couldn't move. What the hell is going on? While Naruto couldn't move his head, he could move his eyes, and he looked down to confirm what he already suspected. They were trapped in a shadow. So Minato sent him, Naruto thought. It's been a long time, Shikamaru. I haven't seen you since you came up with a plan that ended in me getting a Rasengan in my stomach. There was no response. It was like Naruto had been talking to the trees. Hey, what's going on? There's no one here. Hiden yelled, still trying to move his feet. Of course there is, idiot, our legs didn't just stop on their own. Naruto thought. However, if we haven't been attacked, then that must mean they know about Hiden's immortality along with my reflection. So they must be watching us. Analyzing us. Well, they won't get me to reveal my hand that easily, but I guess I could give them a taste. Naruto stared to take control of the wind and made a large cyclone around him and Hiden. Once Naruto felt it was big enough, he sent it into the tree line. It tore through the trees, knocking them down like children's play blocks. Naruto watched as multiple ninja were forced to vacate the area and move to ground level. Naruto didn't see Shikamaru jump down, but the person who Naruto recognized as his sensei along with his other 2 teammates jumped. There was also a couple other ninja Naruto didn't know, but in total there was 9 in Naruto's sight along with Shikamaru, who must be hiding somewhere. Naruto looked around for the shadow that would be connecting Shikamaru to them. Naruto found it to the left of him, but instead of leading him to Shikamaru, it went down a small hole and out of Naruto's sight. You guys really did get us in a pretty good trap. If I can't find Shikamaru, then I'm pretty much stuck here. So why don't you just attack me? Because you just reflect our own weapons back at us, Asuma said. Then what was the point of keeping me from moving if you're just going to stand there watching me? Naruto asked. We trapped you because we believe you can get out of it, so come on, show us your power, Asuma said. And what if I can't get out? We'll just be standing here until Shikamaru no longer has the power to hold us in place, Naruto said, more than willing to wait him out. Asuma just gave Naruto a smirk in reply, and Naruto was left to wonder why when he felt his body turn. A quick glance at Hiden saw him doing the same. Naruto's back was now facing Hiden as he was looking at the back of Naruto's head. Oh, you turned us so scary, Naruto teased. Shikamaru wasn't done yet, however, as Naruto felt his hand move to reach for something behind his back. For Naruto there was nothing there, but for Hiden it was his scythe. Naruto thought of what the purpose of this was until he reached a conclusion he didn't like. Shikamaru was going to get Hiden to stab him in the back. Normally it would just be reflected, but since Shikamaru also had control of Naruto's movements, he could make Naruto move in direction of Hiden's scythe. Naruto's reflection wouldn't work if he was the one to run into the scythe. Naruto had to admit Shikamaru came up with a brilliant plan. Either Naruto do something to get out of this which would give the Leaf some information about him, or he dies to his own partner. It looks like Naruto would have to do something, But there was one thing Shikamaru forgot. In order for that information to be valuable, someone had to be alive to tell about it, and Naruto wasn't going to let that happen. Naruto felt his arm move in a swinging motion and his body being forced to the right. The first step Naruto took resulted in him causing an earthquake. The ground broke into 1,000 pieces, some being pushed up by the other pieces. The leaf ninja had to move back a little bit or risked being crushed. Naruto and Hiden, on the other hand, were pushed upwards by the piece they were standing on, thus breaking Shikamaru's connection. Naruto, not even giving him a chance to reorganize after his attack, jumped high into the sky so he could overlook the whole battlefield. Most of the trees had been cleared out due to Naruto's cyclone, so it was mostly a flat plain. There were, however, some small hills, and behind one of those hills Naruto could see the little shadow master of Konoha. Naruto could see him clearly in the air, but from his position on the ground he would have never spotted him. Naruto reached into his pockets and pulled out 2 handfuls of pebbles, and he made it rain. Shikamaru looked up to see a hail of rocks coming at him. They were moving far too fast and had too much coverage for Shikamaru to be able to dodge. So all Shikamaru could do is wait as the rocks got closer and closer. Right when they about to hit him, a wood branch suddenly grew out of the ground beneath him and rose above him to protect him. The rocks hit the wood, splintering it, but not even coming close to punching though. Looks like he pulled through, Shikamaru said. But I don't think Naruto's going to let a little wood stop him, better get back to the main group. Shikamaru ran back to join the rest of the force who were currently engaged in fighting Hiden. Since they knew that Hiden couldn't be killed, they were aiming for his legs and arms, trying to cut him off. It was all part of Shikamaru's plan. He had wanted Hiden and Naruto to split up, and it had worked better than he could have hoped. Naruto was in the air and Hiden was fighting the entire squad. Shikamaru wanted to demobilize Hiden before Naruto got back. The reason they didn't do this when they first got Hiden was because not only would there have been no way to force Naruto to use his powers, but he was also likely to have figured out what they were trying to do. Not like Hiden was a pushover either, as he was holding his own against the entire squad. Although have multiple injuries, he wasn't showing the slightest sign of fatigue. He had even gotten a few hits in, but since they weren't giving him any time to make his seal, they weren't being killed off. Shikamaru tried to help out by recapturing him in a shell, but it was difficult since Hiden was now aware of the shadows, and the cracks in the ground were making it more difficult to move the shadow. As he was trying to do this, he heard a crash. Naruto had landed where Shikamaru had been hiding a little bit ago, and he would be rejoining the battle in second. We've got to do this now, Shikamaru yelled. Hi, the rest of the group shouted back just as Hiden made his first kill by skewering a poor Chunin through the neck. This was actually a good thing, as it kept Hiden distracted long enough for Ino to use her mind transfer jutsu. Hiden didn't even know the jutsu was coming. With his body not under his control, he stood completely still as wood branches wrapped around his body, holding him in place. Ino cancelled the jutsu and the kunais went flying towards Hiden's arms and legs. At the same time, a blur flew past the ninja squad towards Hiden as well. Hiden's arms were sliced off expertly, but that blur had reflected the kunais that were aimed at Hiden's legs back at them. That was a close one. You were almost put out of commission, Naruto said to Hiden. Shut the fuck up like you helped. My fucking arms are on the ground. How am I supposed to fucking fight? Hiden yelled. Just be quiet, Naruto said, breaking the wood that was trapping Hiden's body. Just go draw your seal. I'll take care of them. Hiden looked pissed, but he went off to draw his seal, grumbling all the way. If you think we're going to let him do that, then the rumors must be true. You're insane, a random ninja said right before Naruto shoot right in front of him. Then try to stop him, Naruto said, putting his hand on the ninja's chest and reversing his blood flow. Right as the ninja's body fell to the ground, Naruto noticed a large cloud of smoke had formed around him. Then it burst into flames. You'll have to do better than that, Asuma, Naruto yelled, jumping from the fire. Asuma rolled out of the way just as Naruto landed, his hand right where Asuma's head just was. Everyone focus your fire on Hiden. I'll deal with Naruto, Asuma said, taking out his trench knife. But sensei, there's no way you can beat him, Ino said. Listen to me, I know he's dangerous, but if Hiden completes that seal, then we're going to be in a lot more trouble than we are in right now, Asuma said. But he doesn't have any arms, it's not like he can hurt himself, Choji said, trying to reason with Asuma. It doesn't matter if Naruto wants that seal done, then he must have a plan, so just do it. Asuma said. Hi, the group said in a less than happy manner. Wait, an inspiring speech. Naruto said, beaming with confidence. We're getting our asses kicked, but if you don't stop Hidden, we'll get our asses kicked even more. Naruto broke out in laughter. That's all you could come up with? We'll beat you, Asuma said, tightening his grip. Naruto suddenly stopped laughing. You can't believe that. We do, Asuma growled. Then my father must be even crazier than I thought. Naruto said. I'm sure you do believe that your little genius can figure out a way to beat me, since he did find a way, pasted my reflection, and truth is I believe it too, but that's the problem. I believe he's a threat, he even proved it again today. He's the only one to have pushed me, made me think I might lose. That's why I'm not going to let him live. Naruto said, looking at Asuma with the most dangerous look he had ever seen. I won't let you hurt him. Asuma said, running at Naruto. Now, don't get so aggressive. Naruto said, holding out his arm. It might make you do something you'd regret. Naruto shoot a cyclone at high speeds towards Asuma. Asuma had no hope of dodging since he was already running at Naruto and couldn't change his direction that fast. It hit him dead on, smashing him into the ground, breaking bones and cutting up skin. Come on now, are you really that weak? Naruto said, walking up to the downed Asuma only to see him disappear into a cloud of smoke. Clones are such a pain in the ass. Naruto said, turning around to see the real Asuma standing between him and Hidden. Hidden was about halfway done with his seal, even though he was being pelted by all sorts of attacks, but as long as he kept dodging and avoided getting his legs cut off, they'd be fine. However, Naruto felt that just that would happen if he didn't take out whoever was able to use the wood jutsu. After all, didn't want Hidden to become trapped again. Naruto taped his feet the ground and started hovering. I need to get to Hidden, so no more clones. Naruto said as he rushed Asuma. All Asuma could do was dodge Naruto's hands. Blocking or even fighting back would be useless, but Asuma had to do something because he was getting pushed back towards Hidden. Stop moving, Naruto said as he just missed Asuma again. They were getting closer and closer to Hidden, who was almost done with his seal. Asuma was beginning to panic, but saw something that gave him hope. Yamato was doing hand signs. Asuma knew he was going to try and trap Hidden again, and since Hidden couldn't move too far from his seal, it was likely to work. All he had to do was keep Naruto distracted for a little longer. Then came pain. More pain than Asuma had ever felt before. He looked down to see that Naruto had his hand inside his chest. You leaf ninja must think everything will work out in the end, don't you? Naruto said, pushing his hand farther into Asuma's chest, causing him even more pain. You see a small glimmer of hope and you think, it's going to be okay, we've got this, and you let your guard down. Well, I've got news for you. Naruto shoot a cyclone at Yamato, who dodged it, but it interrupted his jutsu. Just because you believe you can beat me by sending ninja after ninja, doesn't mean you will. Naruto yelled, pushing his entire arm into Asuma's chest until it came out the other side. If you want to beat me, send something besides Chunin and Junin. Naruto ripped his arm out of Asuma, letting his body fall to the ground. Satisfied with his work, Naruto turned to see that Hidden was almost done with his seal, but it looked like one of the ninja had gotten desperate and rushed Hidden with a tanto. Naruto moved fast as he dazed in front of the ninja. The ninja, not expecting him, swung his tanto on instinct. The tanto broke upon hitting Naruto's reflection. Not even a moment later, Naruto sent a rock through his heart. Naruto turned to look at the remaining ninjas. By the looks on their faces, Naruto could guess they already knew how much trouble they were in. They probably thought things couldn't get any worse, but they were about to, because Hidden had completed the seal. Shikamaru was horrified to see Naruto rejoin the battle so soon. It could only mean one thing: Asuma was dead. Naruto had killed the man that Shikamaru respected so greatly in the blink of an eye. How long were they fighting? 30 seconds, a minute at the most. Shikamaru watched as Naruto moved to collect Hidden's scythe and then moved back to Hidden. The scythe still had the blood of some of the ninja Hidden had hit on it, and that was all Hidden needed. He licked the blade and Naruto threw a rock through his heart. A ninja next to Choji fell over dead. Hidden licked it again, Naruto threw another rock and another ninja fell over dead. The ninja who had gotten hit started to panic. They tried to run away, but it didn't matter. In no time at all, the entire squad was reduced down to 4 members. We need to retreat, Yamato said. Shikamaru knew that Yamato was right. At this point there was no way they could hope to beat Naruto. Hell, they probably had no hope of winning going into this fight, but Shikamaru just couldn't run away. If he did, then all this would be for nothing. If they were going to run away, then they at least had to bring something back, some way to beat Naruto, some weakness. Shikamaru went through everything he knew about Naruto. There had to be something he missed. Naruto's has the power to control vectors. This gives him an absolute defense and a powerful offense. His defense is a thin layer of chakra that reflects everything that comes into contact with it. The only no way to get past it is pull back at the last moment or have Naruto run into it. Both these things are extremely hard to pull off. His attacks consist of causing earthquakes, cyclones, throwing rock and a rubber ball at high speeds, and the ability to reverse blood flow, allowing him to kill anyone with just a touch. These attacks gave him a wide range of options from very short range all the way to extremely long range. On paper it seems like Naruto is an unstoppable ninja, but everyone has something that can be exploited. Shikamaru thought about it over and over again: defense, offense, power. There must be something. Shikamaru's eyes widened in realization. Could it really be that simple? He turned to look at Ino. Ino, I think I know what his weakness. Shikamaru would never get to finish his sentence as a pebble went through his neck, stopping him from talking. Shikamaru fell to his knees, holding his neck hopelessly, trying to stop the bleeding. Shikamaru! Ino screamed, getting down on her knees. Sorry about that, Naruto said, rubbing the back of his head. He just seemed like he was spacing out, so I thought he could use a little something to bring him back. You bastard, Ino yelled, about ready to beat the smirk right off Naruto's face, but Shikamaru stopped her. Ino could tell he wanted to say something desperately, but with a hole in his throat that wasn't going to happen. Instead, he took out a piece of paper and wrote a couple words before handing it to Ino. Ino knew exactly what Shikamaru wanted her to do. I'm not leaving without you, she yelled, but the look in Shikamaru's eyes told her that whatever was written in that note was worth the sacrifice, so with a heavy heart and tears in her eyes she ran, with Choji and Yamato following her. Shikamaru smiled as he saw Ino run out of sight. He truly believed that his note would get back to the leaf and everything would be okay. That was the last thing Shikamaru thought of, because Naruto stomped on the back of his head, turning it into a pile of meat. You won't get away, Naruto said, speeding off towards them. Naruto, pushing off the ground, was able to get way faster, but Yamato kept putting up wood pillars to block him. Naruto could easily break through these, but it did cut down on his speed. It wasn't long, however, when Naruto got them in his sight. Ino could see Naruto behind her, and he was only getting closer. We'll never outrun him, Ino said. Then I'll stop him, Choji said, angrier than Ino had ever heard him, even when someone called him fat. Choji, you can't, he'll kill you, Ino said. He killed my best friend and my sensei. He won't get away with it, Choji yelled, going into his human bullet tank. Choji, stop, Ino screamed, but it was too late. Choji was already rolling as fast as he could towards Naruto. Naruto didn't even react. He let Choji hit him at his top speed, but all that happened was Choji was sent flying back. The force of hitting Naruto's reflection had snapped his neck. Choji! Ino yelled as she watched her dead friend roll on the ground until his bloody body finally stopped. Ino let a few tears run down her face. Not only was her entire team dead, but Choji hadn't even delayed Naruto in the slightest. Why you running? I thought you came here to kill me. So fight like it, Naruto said. Ino and Yamato didn't respond. Ino because she was trying to save her energy, and Yamato because he was too busy making wood pillars. Fine, then have it your way, Naruto said as 4 cyclones emerged from his back. Then Naruto flew up into the air. Ino and Yamato were terrified to see Naruto flying so fast that he was in front of Yamato in an instant. Those pillars not so good when your opponent can fly, Naruto said, bringing his hand around to grab Yamato's face. Yamato tried to make some wood more to stop him, but Naruto tore right through it. Yamato was done for the moment Naruto made contact with his skin. Ino made a sharp right to get away from Naruto, but a pebble through her knee stopped any hope she had of running away. Naruto looked down on Ino as she pathetically tried to crawl away, leaving a trail of blood as the blood poured from her wound. It took only a few steps from Naruto to catch up with her. He grabbed her by her ponytail, earning a pained scream. Why don't you just give up, live your last moments of life in peace? Naruto said. Screw you. I'm going to make it back to the leaf with or without a leg. Ino screamed, still trying to get out of Naruto's hold. There was a brief moment where the only sound was Ino moving dirt around before Naruto burst into the most high-pitched laugh Ino had ever heard. He even let go of her ponytail. Ino didn't let this moment go to waste as she crawled away from Naruto. Make it back to the leaf, why don't you have a look around? Then you might realize that it was impossible the moment you started running. Naruto said, only now getting his laugh to calm down. Everything in Ino's body told her not to, but her mind won out. She took a good look at her surroundings and what she saw killed any hope of escape. There weren't any trees, yet she was in the middle of a forest. The huge cyclone attack that Naruto had done at the beginning of the fight had knocked down all the trees in a certain radius of him, and Ino wasn't even out of that. Get all the way to the leaf, forget about that. Naruto had managed to kill all of them before they got out of the original battle site. Now do you see? Naruto said. You can never get back to the leaf. The entire run to freedom you and your friends had lasted a minute. Naruto pointed to the corpses of Yamato and Choji. But don't worry, it will all be over soon. Naruto covered Ino's face with her hand. All she could see was blackness and knew that she was going to die. I'm sorry, Shikamaru, Ino said. Naruto let Ino's body drop. Maybe this valley of corpses would finally make Minato see that Naruto wasn't going to be done in by ordinary ninjas. Naruto was about to walk back and meet up with Hiden, but he remembered that Shikamaru had handed Ino something. He walked back to Ino's body and found a piece of paper clutched in her hand. Naruto had to pry his fingers to get it. The paper was covered in blood, but it was still legible. At first Naruto didn't see why Shikamaru had lost his life for these few words, but the more he looked at it the more he thought about and his eyes widened in panic. Shikamaru had discovered yet another weakness Naruto didn't know he had, but this weakness wasn't like any other of his weaknesses, like a pulled punch or not being able to reflect vectors he didn't know. This was an inherited problem with his ability that couldn't be fixed. It was right then that Naruto realized just what had happened. This weakness wasn't something that was a mistake on Naruto's part. It was something Orochimaru had done on purpose. This was why he never sent his ninja after Naruto when he escaped, or why he had acted too confident when he had ordered Naruto to help him invaded the leaf. He's had a one-up on him all this time, but it wasn't exclusive to Orochimaru, anyone could use it if they knew how. Damn you, Orochimaru. Naruto growled, shredding the paper into million pieces, so it could never be salvaged. Naruto made his way back to Hiden, thinking of a way to kill Orochimaru and bury that information forever. The Konoha Council room was dead quiet. It had been a few days since Asuma's team had been due to return from their mission. They could still be alive. Minato said. Oh. Bite me, Minato. A council member said. We know the dead, you know the dead. Hell, the whole village knows that the dead, and do you know who killed them? Your son. You don't know that, Minato yelled. How many ninja have died doing recon missions? Into Naruto? 50, 60, 100. It's time to face facts, Minato. Your son is never, and I mean never, allying with the leaf. It's time to stop sending ninja to the death just because you feel guilty. I'm sure if I talked to him then he would understand. Minato said. The time for that has long since passed. Danzo said angrily, which wasn't so rare for him recently. In fact, a lot of people had noticed that Danzo seemed to be way more agitated recently. Have already sent someone. Not to research Naruto like you've been doing. No, this time the ninja's been ordered to deal with Naruto. You can't do that without my permission. Minato yelled, standing up. I can with the council's permission. Danzo said. And when did they give you permission? We called a meeting a day after Asuma and his team were supposed to return. We didn't call you because we felt you were unfit to make such an important decision. Danzo said. You think I'm unfit? Minato said, slamming his fist on the table. Yes, I and quite a few other people do. Danzo said. Minato, seeing that Danzo wasn't lying, tried to calm himself and return to an acceptable manner. You sent a ninja. Who do you believe has an ability to beat Accelerator? Unlike you, I didn't settle for regular Anbu. I sent someone that is actually on Naruto's level. Danzo said, the hint of a smile on his face. While the meeting was going on, a ninja arrived at the place where Naruto and Hiden had massacred a Konoha squad not even a week earlier. He examined the bodies and confirmed they were the work of the duo. I'm getting closer, the figure said, dashing off in the direction he knew they went off, in his red eyes lighting up the night. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.